All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Hector Quinones. I am the Municipal Alliance Coordinator for Victory Gardens and for Dover. We are very happy that you are here with us today and have a lot to talk about. So just gonna get started. Usually in situations like this, we're recording the meeting. Sadly enough, we did have a technical difficulty that we had to change the link. So it's possible we may have some people that are not able to make the meeting today. I will just remember there's one more person from one of the organizations. Let me just send it to them. And this is the last one. This is for people that potentially may not have seen it in their. Here it is. So we got somebody else that saw the email. Oh, I think that's who I was just sending it to. All right. So let's get started. So pretty much, for those of you that don't know, Ms. Johanna Schwank, she's the chairwoman for the Municipal Alliance. One of the goals of today's meeting is for everyone to be able to understand what are the functions of the Municipal Alliance, also to determine if this might be something that you potentially would want to actually be a part of. And we have some people who have had experience in Municipal Alliance before, so kind of exciting to see that. You see them. So we are starting the meeting at 7:07. And I would like to ask if everyone, if you could please just unmute yourself. And if you could just please say your name and what is your role, whatever role it is, your professional job, or if it's with the community, if you're a volunteer, student, whatever it is that your role is. So if you could please, so say your name, organization, and also what type of experience do you have being a part of the Municipal Alliance? Is this your first time ever hearing of it? And this one we'll get to know a little bit where everybody stands. So we'll start with Ms. Susan Monaco. If you could please start, just say your name and go from there.
Sure. My name is Susan Monaco. I'm the Student Assistance Counselor at Dover High School. And I really don't know much about the MAC, but I'm happy to be here and to be learning about it. Is there something else, Mr. Quinones?
Yes, I'll just call here in the order we have them here. Mr. Hartman?
No, I mean, was there anything else I needed to say?
Oh, no, that's it. Just your experience and your role. And yep, thank you.
Thank you.
How's everyone doing? My name is Justin Hartman. I'm a teacher at Dover High School. I'm from Dover. I don't know much about the MAC, but I look forward to learning about it tonight.
Excellent. Thank you. Sulma.
Good evening. My name is Solma Calderon Alvarez, and I'm a student at Dover High School. And I don't know a lot about the Municipal Alliance.
Excellent. Pastor Tim.
Good evening. My name is Pastor Tim. I'm Hart from the Garden Chapel in Victory Gardens. We are a recipient of the Municipal Alliance funding on behalf of Victory Gardens, and I think we've been participating between now maybe 5 or 6 years. Our Church of Victory Gardens is focused on helping the needs of the community, and we do a lot of drug prevention, and we've done a lot of things with trying to help with drug prevention even before we were a participant in the Municipal Alliance for Victory Gardens.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. Renshaw.
Good evening, everyone. Lou Renshaw. I am the new Director of Safety and Security for the Dover Public Schools. I started there in December. I am a retired Deputy Chief of Detectives from the Attorney General's Office. I do have some experience with the Municipal Alliance. I was actually the student representative for Kearney High School in 91 and 92. I know it was a long time ago, but I'm aware of the good work that this alliance does, and I look forward to becoming part of it. So thank you for inviting me here tonight.
Excellent. We also have Ms. Rosita Carrasquillo. I do know that she is in a vehicle. I believe she is currently driving, so we're not going to ask her to
I'm good. I went
Okay.
out.
Oh,
I
she's
did everything I
already-
had to do.
Excellent.
Multitasking.
Good. To say your name,
Uh,
your role, and any experience you have with the municipal alliance, but
Okay. My name is Rosita Carrasquillo. I am a parent of a child in the district, in the Dover district. I reside in Dover. And I am also the community liaison for Dover High School. I also volunteer at a local church. But no, I'm not familiar with Mac. But thank you for having me, and interested to know a little bit more.
excellent. I think that covers everyone that we have here today. All right, well, let's get started. We're gonna start fresh this year. We're gonna not worry about the minutes for now. We'll discuss those later. We do have some things to update to those that are recipients of the funding. We are missing some forms 10A from organizations. For those of you that are new, you don't know what those are, but don't worry, you will today. You will today before this meeting ends. And can you guys hear me okay? Excellent. There's some sounds behind me.
Yes.
I can move, so it's okay. All right, and also the fact that we have some pending site visits, those are gonna be coming up. And pretty much what's gonna happen is once we go over this information, you kind of understand the reason of the site visits. And let's get going. I'm gonna also be going over the fiscal year 2023. We had a meeting with the county, and I have an update to share with everyone in regards to what was discussed during that meeting. I will be sharing this information with you later on. These are links that talk about overdoses and opioid concerns in Morris County, in Sussex, in New Jersey overall. I don't know if you are aware. Let me just see if I can just open it and we go. We'll do the other one just to share them with you. We currently have, so let me see if you guys, just so you can see this, I'll share my screen with you. There's a huge concern, in case you were not aware. I'm gonna ask maybe Pastor Tim in a few minutes if he might be willing to share. We had I think it was last year. We had a lot of incidents take place with mental health. So just want to share, this is from the Daily Record. This is actually from about a year ago, but just to put things in perspective, so there were 1,476 suspected drug-related deaths in the state through the first 6 months of 2022. According to the state attorney general's office, the projected total of the years slightly less than 3,000 will be the lowest since 2019, which saw 2,914 deaths statewide, reaching up to over 3,000. Now look at this, for those of you that didn't know, nationwide almost 108,000 Americans died from suspected overdoses in 2021, and it jumped of almost 15% from roughly 93,000 in 2020. So these numbers continue to get crazier. As of right now, this is from 2022. We still do have a concern, a big concern. Let me show you the last link that we have here. And then if Pastor Tim is available to share, that would be helpful. I am going to be sharing for those that are in here today. I'm gonna be sharing a report later on that was created by New Jersey, and pretty much is similar to the one that I'm going to share with you right now, but it's just very specific. It's all numbers based, and it gives you an idea of how concerning what we're going through is. Can everyone see this? North Jersey Health Collaborative. Okay, thank you. So if you scroll down, first of all, look at how concerning this sentence is. That first paragraph there. And you could click, later, and I'll share the link if you want to read the whole thing. Drug overdose deaths are the leading cause injury death in the United States, with over 100 drug overdose deaths occurring every day. The death rate due to the drug overdose has been increasing over the last decades. So then this is a very good page to give us some numbers. But look over here, we're in Morris County, right? So in Morris County, this is from 2018 to 2020. It was last updated in June 2022. We can see that as we compare, we are very close in some aspects, but look at this. Death rate due to drug poisoning. So you see from 2004, it has been increasing. We're almost here at 22.5.
And Hector,
Yeah.
Sheriff Gannon shares this all the time in Morris County, and he shared this recently on a webinar. It was about 3 months ago, where you see a little bit dip in 20, more recently of 2022, 2023, to some that there were less overdoses in Morris County. But he then says, but the suicide rate increased. So even though they started to see the needle drop in fentanyl overdoses, death overdoses, drug related, on the mental health side of it, suicide increasing.
Thank you for adding that, Pastor Tim. And then the other thing too is, in case you didn't know this, in case you were not aware, and Mr. Rancho, if you want to jump in and maybe elaborate on what I'm going to say next, but I've seen this as a police chaplain, and learning when incidents have happened where sometimes there has been drug overdoses, when they're going to do the death certificate and the medical examiner comes in, and when they're determining the cause of death, sometimes even if it's an actual drug overdose or an opioid overdose, they'll write down something like this: heart failure. So in other words, when you look, the actual number that we have of deaths and overdoses, even if it looks really high, in reality, it's actually higher, because there's sometimes that there's like a window that families can kind of determine and decide to a certain extent how it is going to be actually noted, depending who is the person coming across with the body, who is the person responding, if it was the police, if and so forth. So so Rancho, I'm not sure if you want to add anything to that, or if that sounds about right from your knowledge.
Yeah, that's spot on. There's a lot of different variables. Coming from the Attorney General's office, we monitored that, and having just retired, I'm very familiar with how we kept those statistics. So a lot of times the drug is the catalyst for a cardiac arrest, but they will say cardiac arrest because it doesn't meet a certain threshold in the testing. And when the testing is done, it's done post-mortem, so it's not a really accurate number as well. So the number's lowering the threshold to make it an overdose, and then they say, okay, it was a cardiac arrest. We saw an incredible uptick when I was leaving, and I know that the pastor mentioned an uptick in suicides, but we saw an incredible uptick with mental health, drugs, and suicide by police right before I was leaving. I think it went up 83% my last year in those instances. So again, all narcotics related, again, them being the catalyst. So huge problem.
Thank you so much. And again, this is the same page that we're looking at. Look at this. This is a comparison side by side. We're comparing different counties. Look at Morris County, and then you compare it to Sussex County. Now, it's very interesting that sometimes we're like, well, Morris County is, one of the richest counties in the United States. Having said that, then you look at, let's say, Sussex County, Warren County, where you actually tend to have a lot more land. Sometimes even having a lot more land and a lot more places to go, people actually get together and they have parties, and when they have them, they actually end up using. There's this practice that has been happening for years, where kids and teenagers, they actually go into medical cabinets and they literally just take pills from their grandparents, uncles, aunts. So if anybody here has ever had a procedure done, let's say like a operation in their back, or just something really, really painful that you actually got an opioid and you just left it there sitting and you just don't even pay attention to it, you don't know how many pills you have inside, then the kids actually go to these parties, they dump them all inside a bucket, and it's just a mix of crazy pills in there. And then they have like rave music playing, like techno music, really, really fast. They have the flashing lights, the fluorescent lights, and they just put their hand in there, they just grab a bunch and they take them. And when this happens, the fluorescent lights are actually helping the high, for that high to actually be something that supposedly is like a great experience for them. And a lot of these things are happening. And so even a lot of these parties are actually advertised as parties for kids who are like 14, 15, 16. The prices could range from $30 to $50, a ticket. And it does not include, it says no drugs, no alcohol. The issues with this that I'm telling you is so high that as of right now, a lot of these organizations and companies that do these parties, they have actually decided to hire their own ambulances, because when they pay an outside ambulance, they don't have to report it the same way that they have to report it if they actually do it through a hospital. So it is extremely concerning. I just want to give you a bit of an eye opener here, so you kind of have an idea. So this is deaths per 100,000 population. You see over here, compared to Sussex, the actual the difference, the disparity in regards to the numbers. And you go actually click here, and there's a lot of different resources. The document itself is about 25 pages. And it gives you, it's very detailed. It took years to put together because it includes people who have been hospitalized for drug usage, for substance abuse, people who have, DUIs, mental health. It has a huge breakdown. So I will be sharing this information with you later on. Let me just jump right into the information here. Pastor Tim, would you mind, if you have a moment, if you remember that time last year that in about a month, I think there were probably 5 different deaths connected to drug, opioid use, heroin. It was fentanyl. I think it was like in a matter of about 6 to 8 weeks, there were probably 4 or 5 right there around the area of Victory Gardens. Do you remember, Pastor Tim?
Yes.
So would you mind just giving a quick little breakdown of even the times that you ended up responding to, like taking people for mental health, the story with Sister March?
I'll qualify a little bit. January is a tough month for me because now I think almost 30 years ago, when I was 12 years old in Morris County, my brother, whose birthday was on Saturday, overdosed of a heroin overdose in Roxbury, New Jersey. And I was 12 years old at the time. And I say that because it wasn't a pandemic then, and it was registered as heart failure, not an overdose, because back then Morris County wouldn't have had a drug problem. And it's just the reality of life that we face now. So what I do in Victory Gardens since I passed everything is we're a one-stop shop. We are a church, but we want to help people. So we work very closely with Morris County to get people in the rehabs. Unfortunately, I can say in the last 2 months, I have either done or gone to 3 funerals for overdose already for the last 2 months. And then this year is up to 7, and a lot of them are my close friends. And those are the ones that I either did. Sadly, too, I have become, because I've been involved with this for so long on a volunteer basis, I've become the pastor to honor those who have fallen before us with drug overdose. I don't judge them, because I've been there myself in struggles over the years, but it's just the reality. We had a year and a half ago, no, maybe 2 years ago, when the sheriff and the prosecutor has shared about the problems with the opiate pandemic and overdoses. We trained our congregation on how to do Narcan, and I think it was about 5 years ago now. We had a great event, and one of my parishioners said, "I went to it because, Pastor, I was supporting our church by going to the event. You had it at the church. I learned how to do it." She had no idea during COVID that she would have Narcaned her upstairs neighbors 5 times. And the police at the time that came to the respond, because she got the Narcan kits from Worth County, said, "You have the best kits." And even during COVID, when she used the Narcan, CARES came and they took the empty one from the mailbox and gave her a new one. So, and sadly, the woman that she had Narcan passed away, not from drug issues, but from just health issues, but she had a year clean and sober. And thanked her very much for Narcanning her 5 times. So, that's, and I also work at Montclair State University. So I will say that the ability for those to get Narcan has been good. But I'm seeing more and more it's harder to get those with drug addiction, with multiple times of rehab, getting them, if they don't have insurance, into rehabs. A lot of facilities now, because of insurance and everything, won't take someone if they've been there recently. And as anyone that's been experiencing this, it's very few times, especially with the opiate addiction, that you're going to get someone that goes into rehab and gets it the first time. But I have seen people that have, the cops have known that have Narcan and maybe the 5th time. So I've seen miraculous stories where finally someone gets it and lives. But I will say I've done way too many funerals, and with no exaggeration, over 100 due to the overdoses. And with the mental health and the struggle with more services, I'm seeing an uptick of self-medication. There's a commercial that I think should have been given out maybe 20 years ago. If you see it, it's like a 10-year-old or 11-year-old in a dentist chair, and the doctor does some work, and he goes, "Let me write you a prescription for pain medication," and it stops, and the mom is right there, and the voiceover says, "Think twice about allowing your child to even, take this prescription or fulfilling this prescription." It's 10 to 20 years too late with the epidemic that we have now with, but I'm also noticing an increase in other drugs that you wouldn't even think about, like with embalming fluid. We've helped 3 people in the last 2 years get rehab for that, which is like a version of angel dust. And so with vaping and everything else, it's not just it's not always just now fentanyl, but fentanyl is in everything. And you cannot tell, and I think anyone else will tell you too, and the prosecutor and the sheriff will sit there and say, you cannot tell by looking at a pill if it's a real prescription or if it's fentanyl. They're made almost exactly the like. So it's sad. I think that we're struggling with resources. Morris County has a lot of resources, and the sheriff and the groups together, including this group, has done a lot in help getting awareness out there and the resources. But the resources are still, I think, especially for the one that is going back and forth many times, struggling, continues not to meet the need.
Thank you so much, Pastor Tim. And thank you, Ms. Schwank, for joining in as well. So for those of you that are part of this meeting for the first time, you're probably still trying to understand, but what in the world is this meeting all about? Are we coming together and just gathering to talk about statistics and what's happening with the drugs? No, this is just a reminder of the fact that this is real, it's happening around us, and as a community, what are we going to do about it? That's pretty much where the Municipal Alliance comes in. So gonna go really quickly through this, and then we're gonna actually dive more into what it is that this organization actually does and what's the whole purpose of it. So just a few announcements. FYI, there will be supplemental funding very likely available this year. I know for new people that not necessarily mean much, but once we go over the funding, you'll understand. We are seeking for new members. Part of the goal of the Municipal Alliance is to continue to grow and be able to reach as many people in the community as possible through education, through prevention, through providing resources. And the best way that we could do that is with people. This is one of the reasons why we're actually recording this video, in order to be able to share it and for it to be expanded out with other, with other organizations that hopefully will in the future decide that they want to be a part of this program. The application was submitted for the upcoming cycle, just so you know, and I'm actually going to share with you so you can kind of have an idea what this whole process is like. Also, the POs were received by the county to put together the report that will close out 2023. We had a funding relocation programs for not spending money. We're going to discuss that as we do have some major changes coming. There's also an upcoming grant timeline. So right now, the main date for the timeline pretty much goes like this. For 2024, January 5th was the first quarter for the first and second report, which we already actually submitted. Also, there's going to be site visits between January through April. We already had our site visit, and I'll give you more details about that later. Calendar year 2023, the supplemental expense report that was already signed, and the backup documentation was already provided by the town. So we are doing well with all of these dates. We already did everything I just said, and those are the first 4 things that are due. Now, applications, this is where it gets new and where it gets interesting. This word here in letter F, this is brand new. Municipal Alliance Grant Systems Update. This is an online system that is now going to be actually taking the applications. This is going to be the first time that this is going to be happening. So we are okay as a Municipal Alliance for the year 2024, but for 2025, everything is going to be done online. So we have to actually begin that process by we have to complete Form 1A, 1B, Form 3, and Form 8 by May 10th. And then if we have any changes in programs, it's going to require Form 7, which is a modification, as well as any changes in the coordination. That will be a modified Form 6. And I know I'm throwing out numbers. Again, I will show you today before we finish up. And by July 31st, we have to have the form number 9 filled out, which are the remaining expenses for 2024. And because the fiscal year is actually ending around that time, and October 4th is going to be the first quarter reports in MAGS. That's going to be using this online system and also providing the backup documentation. So that explains that portion. We're also going to establish an opportunity for organizations to be able to request MAC funding. So if you have a program, if you work with a program, if you know of a community program right now that is in need of funding, is in need of money, that could potentially be interested in participating as part of the Municipal Alliance, receiving funding and using the funding for the goals that we'll be sharing shortly as to the goal of the Municipal Alliance, please make sure that you let us know. Also, during this conversation, please don't wait till the end. If you have any questions, feel free to jump right in at any time. We're also looking for volunteers and participation in the different events that are going to be taking place, as well as event representation. We do know that everybody has the responsibilities and they're busy. That's one of the reasons why we have decided to have the online meeting, because it allows everyone, even if they have to accommodate their schedule somewhat, to at least be able to log on as well. And max spending, we're going to go over that shortly as well. So let's dive right into it. For those of you that are not necessarily aware, what is the Municipal Alliance? Pay close attention. For those of you that are joining us via video later on, pay close attention and you're going to have 100% understanding of what it is all about. So here is a good breakdown of what we're talking about. So this is called, if you see or hear the phrase JCATA, that's like literally how they refer to it, but it stands for the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. Funds Municipal Alliance in all 21 New Jersey counties. So this is not only for us in Dover and Victory Gardens, but it's for all counties. So the Municipal Alliance Network is made up of local grassroots organizations, which are comprised mainly of volunteers. And this statewide network was established to assess needs, set priorities, develop plans, and implement programs which form the foundation of New Jersey's substance abuse prevention activities. So this gives you a more specific idea of how much money and what it is all about. In Morris County, there are currently 28 municipal alliances operating, which represent 33 of Morris County's 39 municipalities. In total, Morris County receives $480,349 in funding for the Municipal Alliance from the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. And you're probably saying, where does this money come from? You'll see very shortly. So how does an alliance work? First of all, it's established by the municipal governing body. So the reason why I am the Municipal Alliance coordinator is not because I woke up one day and I said, I want to do this. The reason why I am the Municipal Alliance coordinator is because of the fact that the mayor of the town appointed me for this position. So it's something that you actually, the governing body has to appoint a person, and if they're interested, then they can, take the position or not. So volunteers include local leaders. This is where it gets interesting. School officials, teachers, health officials, law enforcement officers, civic organizations, business and private citizens. So one thing, as we're going to be discussing, is the fact that we want to increase membership and we want to try to get some of these people to actually partake on this program. The activities overseen and coordinated by the Morris County Department of Human Services under what's called the County Mental Health Substance Abuse Advisory Board. So community needs assessments are done to determine priorities and develop prevention levels. Mr. Hartman is actually working on getting advancing his studies. He's going to be working with us to actually complete the next needs assessments for the town, where it encompasses different areas from law enforcement, schools, communities, businesses, and so forth, and even parents. And we need all of these different areas represented to kind of see what are the main issues happening in the town of Dover and Victory Gardens. Also, community, the plans approved by the county. Also, steering subcommittee, they're part of the people who actually end up approving, right, the use of these funds. And they also develop a county plan that then is submitted to the governor's council after approval by the freeholders. And based on all these plans and all this paperwork that takes place, then money is then handed out. But let's see where this money comes from. So this money, or how alliances are funded, it is provided by the governor's council through drug enforcement demand reduction, the DEDR. So if you hear the word DEDR fines, if you hear that, what are those? They're fines that are collected at the municipal level from persons convicted of drug-related offenses. The DEDR funds are used to help develop community-focused substance abuse prevention programs. Have you ever wondered, so this person was, let's say, drinking and driving, got into a car accident, or they were under the influence, got into an accident, and they got a fine for $5,000. What happens to those $5,000? Guess where the money goes? To the governor's council through the drug enforcement demand reduction program. So the money that each county receives comes from all these different events that end up happening that actually provide the money, there is a formula that is then used to determine how much money each town is going to then be getting. Years ago, before COVID, the town was getting probably almost 3 to 4 times what we're currently getting now. Probably about 3 times what we're currently getting now. Because of COVID, everything was kind of cut back. How are we doing so far, everyone? Do we have any questions? Understanding? We're good? All right. Sulma, how are you doing? Sulma's the youngest. Want to make sure she's with us.
Mister, yeah.
You're good? Excellent. All right. So, what are some sample programs that could actually use this money? For example, and this is why it's important to have all the different businesses together and organizations from schools and everything, so you see something that maybe is available for the schools and for the students and the town. So peer leadership, anti-bullying programs, mental health programs, backpack giveaway, community events, Tiger Rap, for example, even at the school, they actually receive some funding as well. Prevention initiatives, workshops, mental health initiatives, and if everybody could please look really quickly at Suma. Suma, if you could please say hello, even though they saw you, but that will bring you right on everybody's screen. Suma is wearing a orange hoodie that actually was purchased using Municipal Alliance funding as a positive message for the youth and the leadership of the school, trying to teach students to spend their energy doing things that are positive and not damaging to their health. So thank you, Sulma, for demonstrating. So let's get more specific. Now we're going from the state to the county to Dover. So the Dover Municipal Alliance, and it also includes Victory Gardens, is motivated and dedicated to promoting awareness and prevention of alcohol, tobacco, and other drug abuse and its devastation upon our youth and the community. The committee advocates and supports various programs within the schools and Dover Victory Gardens communities in the pursuit of enhancing and creating effective communication, education, and intervention goals. If anyone has any questions or comments about this, I think when it was made, it was focused, very, very clear cut in the idea of intervention, prevention, education, communication. Now, just overall speaking, what is a Municipal Alliance Committee? So it is a community-based nonprofit organization. So there's nothing that this program ever sells to make money. Never. That will never happen. It is dedicated to securing funding and coordinating efforts to combat alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs through, this is the key, it's in bold letters for a reason. These are the main functions: prevention, intervention, education, and alternative activities that directly impact this type of abuse. Who belongs to MAC? In our particular Municipal Alliance, in our particular MAC, there are representatives from local government bodies, business, the healthcare community, law enforcement, religious leaders, and the community at large. So literally, anyone can participate as part of the Municipal Alliance Committee. Anyone. All of the members have an interest in the health, welfare, and the quality of life of our community. If you don't live in Dover or Victory Gardens and you would like to serve this group because you work there, because you graduated from there, because you value Dover and Victory Gardens, you are more than welcome to join us and to participate. And how is it funded? We already discussed. So let's just really quickly take a quick minute to just share some of the information that was shared at the county meeting. The Municipal Alliance Grant System, MAGS, this is what I shared earlier. This is going to start being operational in January 2024. It's already operational. So at least one member of the Municipal Alliance must attend a training session. I already attended a training session. If anyone would like to attend a training session on how this process with the application is like, feel free to let me know. I will share the information with you. Also, for 2025, everything is going to be done using this program. Like I said earlier, everything is going to be online. Okay. So, this is the application is going to be due. The application for what? For 2025. It's going to be due May 10th, 2024. It's all going to be completed online. The site visits already took place, and I had shared these dates with you earlier. And I am going to close this for a second because now we're doing very good with timing. Any questions as I go share this other document with you so you can see exactly what the application process is like. Now, if you have no questions, you might have questions when I share this document. So feel free to share.
I have a question. How long is the training for? How many sessions?
Oh no, the training is not that long. I think it was like 1 hour. Not even. It may
Okay.
like 40 minutes. It really wasn't that long. And what do you learn in the training? Literally, the training is what I'm going to show you right now. They're gonna teach the person that's in the training how to fill this out. This is the meeting today. And this is what is going to be teaching. How to fill this application that you can currently see here. How to fill this application online. So this is what the application looks like. You heard me say before, Form 1, Form 7, Form 10, you're going to see them now. Okay? As you can see, it is 46 pages. Don't worry, we're not going to read them, okay? I'm just going to scroll and point out certain important things. Obviously, Form 1, you will see it says the Alliance name. It has both, right? The Alliance person, that's Ms. Johanna Schwank. I am the Alliance coordinator. And notice here, this part here is important. I'm going to explain this portion to you. And I'm going to say it slowly. If you get confused, please feel free to ask questions. Because when I first learned about it, I'm going to be honest with you, I was confused. So this is what happens. There's something called an in-kind match, which is 75% of the deeder allocation. Again, that's the drug, right, that we talked about, where the money comes from. And then there's something called a cash match. So let's imagine $100, right? Let's say that the state of New Jersey gives the town of Dover $75. And the town of Dover has to say, okay, well, you know what? I'm also going to throw in my $25. So it's a combination where the town is committing to actually participating and investing financially in the welfare of the town and the citizens. Now, also, very important word here when it says in kind, there are things that are not taken into consideration. For example, right now I am in a building, right? This building where I am, there is a light bill that has to be paid. There's a water bill that has to be paid. There are bills, the phone, the internet, everything, right? And those things are not being charged to the municipal alliance. So then there are things that are considered almost like given to the municipal alliance that have some monetary value, but it's not about getting money to be able to do this thing or not. So right now, if you look here, the alliance, this is how much money was allocated. The alliance has to say, you know what, in kind, we have to come up with about close to $7,000 to $8,000 about of in kind, including services, time, knowledge. For example, every time that Pastor Tim responded to one of these phone calls that took time, that then continued on requiring, let's say, him going to a hospital or going to a funeral, all those things took time, which in turn equal to a monetary value. every time that Garden Chapel did an event, every time that the town of Dover did an event, that Recreation did an event, that used funding, there were things in there that we take for granted, but when you use a space, there is money associated with that. And then the cash match. So then when you add everything up, it brings you to the $21,000, and that is currently what was received. Again, this is the last year's application. So, just wanted to show it to you. And here we go. Form number 2. We don't have to read it, but I'll share it quickly. But Municipal Alliance vision, and there's the vision statement and how it's supposed to actually be achieved. And then we also have the mission statement, okay, which I had read to you before. Form number 3. Now, this is a really important one, and I would like for you to think and consider if you potentially would like your name to be added somewhere to this list. Right now, we are going to be try to get more police participation with the Municipal Alliance. That might be something that we might be able to do maybe with Mr. Rancho if he would like to maybe help with that. Usually, we have a representative of the police that could participate. So this is kind of like all the fill in the blanks membership that you want for the Municipal Alliance. Also, school district administrative staff or school board member. Mr. Miller has participated in the past. Also, the student assistant coordinator or other student. Again, this is from the prior year. The person in this spot now would be Ms. Monaco, or we could actually keep both if Ms. Monaco would like to participate here as well.
Yeah, you could include my name, Mr. Quinones. You can include my name. That's fine.
Excellent.
Sure, of course.
So also, next one, we have a representative of the PTA. We don't have a PTA for the high school, but there are PTAs and booster clubs also in elementary schools. If we have a parent or parents that would like to participate, so part of this conversation also helps us to say, hey, you know what? I know a parent that really is really involved. You know what? Maybe they want to be a part of it. How much time does it take to be a part of the Municipal Alliance? We have 4 meetings a year. The meetings are literally about an hour, give or take. So when it comes to amount of time for the meetings, it's not that, time consuming. Now, there are events that happen, and what's going to happen after today is that every single person that participated today in the meeting, I am going to be sharing information with you when there are different events. So one thing that you could be very helpful with is these events are not even only going to be for Dover. These events are going to be from anywhere. They can happen in Sussex County. They could happen once we get the information, they'll be shared with you. And if you had a student, for example, or child or an adult that shared with you that, hey, you know what, I have someone that's really struggling, with self-injury, and we're doing one particular event for that. Even if we're not the ones doing it, we serve as a resource by being able to provide information to share with those other families. Also, a representative from youth services organizations. So in this particular, the one here on the bottom, a few more down, we have representatives of local civic or volunteer groups, local faith-based organizations. We have Pastor Tim's name there. Currently, private citizens with interest or experience in issues concerning alcohol or drug abuse, addiction, or juvenile delinquency. So another thing you could think about is if you have someone who, let's say, maybe someone who's older and retired, or somebody who's young and retired, somebody who might have a disability that maybe they can't work in different scenarios, but when we do an activity, they might be actually willing to come out and help. Okay. And we'll talk about activities in a few moments. And then here we have youth representatives. This is where Sulma would come in if she would actually decide that she wants to be a part of this group. So that's where Sulma's name would go. And then we have also older adult representatives. This could be from nursing homes. It could be from, okay? Individuals who have been affected by alcoholism, drug abuse, also directly affected by their own or family members' abuse or addictions. That in itself is enough reason for somebody to maybe want to actually partake and give back. Also, health and human service agencies, professionals, especially healthcare professionals, including pharmacists, physicians, therapists. So far, I'm hoping that you have your minds going, and if you think of any friends, anybody that might actually potentially be interested, because what happens is this: even though the meetings only happen about 4 times a year, the amount of activities that are happening, they're not 4. And you might not be available to go to all of them, but even if you go to one, you're serving a purpose to reach out to people who are in need. So it's all worth it. Representatives of the local communications media or public relations, and also representatives of public and private organizations involved in the prevention or treatment of alcoholism and drug abuse, and or the regional coalition. Here we go. Form number 4. Now we get to go a little faster. This is pretty much a strategic prevention framework, okay? Step 1, the needs assessment. This is pretty much what I had mentioned earlier that Mr. Hartman is going to be working on. So it's pretty much like a survey where different people from different organizations start to analyze the town, both towns, counting also, Victory Gardens and Dover, and determining what exactly are our needs. So, for example, when we did it the last time, we included law enforcement, schools, parents, youth, and the elderly. This can also include, for example, it could include the SAC as a resource. It could include the nurses. It could include a hospital. It could include chaplains. It could include many, many, many different ways. And then, what did you learn? And what this does at the end is the fact that it has summary findings. And this summary findings gives a goal for the program to actually go out and serve in this manner. Form number 5 is a Municipal Alliance Committee Capacity Assessment Tool. And pretty much what it does is kind of similar to the top. It's like a self-assessment where you could look at the first one, membership. So membership is now something that we could say, that we can have the highest score based on the fact that we still need to bring the membership to a higher number to be able to provide more services in a form of connection when it comes to networking. Just having a place to meet or having schedules, agendas, minutes, and so forth. And there's different things, do we have a vision? Do we have a mission? Do we have bylaws? We have all those things. Do we have literature? We have, how are decisions made? Is it clear? Mail, do we have a mail? There's actually a mail slot in town hall where mail actually goes. Do we offer training opportunities? And you're going to be receiving those emails, or you're going to be getting training opportunities for different topics and different information. So this gives you an idea what this looks like. Subcommittees. Here we go. Form number 6. So these are all the different organizations, and this also includes the alliance coordination from the whoever the coordinator is. This is actually, like I said, it is actually a paid position from the town, and there is an amount of money that is actually allotted, by quarter and so forth. And it's broken up by the deeder again and in kind and so forth. And this is all filled out. So that's for the alliance coordination. Now, these ones are really, really important. And this is a form that will have to be filled out by each organization that is actually receiving funding. So here we're going to see the first one. This is, here it is. This is from the Escucha program. And they have to answer all of these questions. Brief description. When are they meeting? What are they doing? What is the money being used for? How is it? How are the groups being reached? What's the target population? How many people are being served? Who is being impacted? Who are the community partners? The budget and the resources? Who are the responsible members for the implementation of this program? And also measure programs and outcome indicators. So there has to be process goals for short term and also long term as well. And these pages here, they're all the same, but they're for different different groups. That was Escucha. This one is for community awareness. Then the next one coming up is for positive community engagement. So we have about 6 different ones. And the next one is the Tiger Alliance. This is the one from the Dover School District. So if you read this slowly, you're going to see the Student Assistance Counselor in collaboration with our school-based youth programs. So it actually shows the involvement. For example, funding. And this is, I'll share this one because it's real. I think, for those, a lot of you that are connected, for example, Red Ribbon Week. You could use funding for that. School Violence Awareness Week, Week of Respect, Pride Month activities, Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, Alcohol Awareness, and the list goes on and on and on. Even for, we don't do this, the town doesn't do this for the high school, but in some schools, they actually use funding for doing a lock-in after graduation. It's called Project Graduation, if you never heard of it. Here we go. We got, I think, a few more. Next one. This one is Youth Empowerment Impact Program, and each group receives a different amount of money. Okay, based on the need and based on whatever they actually had requested. We're on page 35 out of 46. We're almost done. So this is a breakdown of how the whole money works. And if you look here in the bottom, you see how all the money is spent. Is added up as part of the program total. But then when you look at this column here, the one that says in kind, right? You see that all that money that's listed there, that's the money that is being given somehow in resources, in time, in space, okay? Physical location and so forth. It's not actual like real money that is tangible. Now, Form A, and it's very, very important. Form A is the form that programs fill out to show, for example, this is the Escucha program as an example, and they shared here when they actually had their meetings, okay? Field trips, how many participants did they have? How many volunteers? How many hours? What was the actual outcome of the program? So every time an activity takes place that uses funding, this form has to be filled out. And it shows real short-term outcomes, okay? And it also shows real short-term outcome successes, challenges as well. And 10B is actually one form, very similar to Form 10, where everything is summarized. So here is a 2-year summary of all the meetings, of everything. So literally it's pretty much 2 sheets, front and back, that say, okay, this program was able to reach this amount of people just all at once, all together. So it's almost a summary of Form 10A, all added up together. And that pretty much covers everything, unless we have any questions. Oh, I did want to share, these are actual real events that have taken place in the past that have used funding. For example, police and community prevention activities. We did a senior wellness lunch we've done in the town. Family fun events, like we've done basketball tournaments, volleyball tournaments, soccer tournaments, fishing, Mayor's Fishing Day. We also had the program lead, Mr. Renshaw. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the lead program. He pretty much took over. Yeah, okay, you are. So that's another thing that it's something that has also received funding. We also have had Health Awareness Day, after school recreation. There's one that's done at the Dover High School called Pizza and Prevention, where a bunch of pizzas are purchased, and then the kids come, they just watch a short clip, then they kind of talk about it for a few minutes, and then they get to eat pizza and hang out in a safe environment. Drug resistance programs, mental health programs, Thanksgiving food drives with the Hope One truck, navigating Hope services, backpack giveaway, holiday, community giving, food drives. And one important thing is always having these resources available of phone numbers that can be shared when someone is actually in need. So that kind of summarizes that whole section. Let me just share my last page. Any questions as of now?
Mister, I don't have a question, but I just want to say that you can write my name down because I'm interested in being part of these activities.
Thank you, Suma. That is excellent. And if you would like to, if you talk to any of your friends about it, anybody else is interested, feel free to let them know. And I can follow up with your parents later also to explain a little bit more. And you know what?
Hey, Mr. Q.
Yes, sir.
I'm not too sure if I saw a spot really for myself, but I would definitely want to, be involved.
Yes, you would fit under school employee.
Okay, perfect. I
Yep,
must have missed it.
there's one there, so I'll definitely add you as well. And I will share, almost done here, but just want to share a very important. This, for example, one of the things that I'm gonna be sending to you via email. Information so you can be a resource to other people. This is happening. I just literally got this email today. But this is happening February 2nd, so it's right around the corner. Look at this. Free dental specified services for children 12 and younger. So it's happening in Dover, Smile Central in Dover, and also it's also going to be happening in Patterson. So if you have family that's in Patterson, or if you need, doesn't matter if you miss one or if one is closer, people that work over there. The idea is not even to serve only one person, it's just to serve anyone who is at your reach that you could actually make a difference. And every flyer you send, if you create a group within yourself of outreach of people that you know or that connect with others to be able to serve needs, it's a great opportunity. If you have social media, upload it and just let people read it. And hopefully, if you save one child's smile, okay, because of this free service, as we know that sometimes medical insurance has been some sort of issue. And almost getting to the end, upcoming programs. This is gonna be happening soon enough. It looks like it might be happening potentially between April or May, a mental health fair. Also, Mayor Holman, who was not able to join us today, but he is working with the Sheriff's Office and the Municipal Alliance to put together a Narcan Mental Health Community Training Day. This will be
also,
yes, Pastor.
Hector. So what we're doing with Mayor Holman and Sheriff's Office, I think it's at this point going to be at the Garden Chapel. And one of the things that Mayor Holman wanted to was through the Sheriff's Office, not just with the Narcan mental training, but to also talk about the newest things that are going on out there that they're finding. Because we did this a couple of years ago with the prosecutor's office and sheriff's office, and it was good to know, just as things continue to change very rapidly. It's good to hear and just kind of be aware of what is next or what's coming, the other things that are out there. So that's all part of that mental health community day. We did it previously. We had a very good turn.
Thank you. We're also looking to thinking even about the possibility of maybe including even fine arts into that program at Garden Chapel, when we could potentially have kids who maybe are artistic, right? Maybe make some posters, some signs. We might be able to also, we've done it in the past where we have actually shared it online if there's somebody that cannot physically make it, videotape it. However, this would be a perfect opportunity. One of those, we have 4 meetings, but there's going to be events that are going to happen throughout the year. The mental health town fair is going to be in April or May. That's going to be a big deal as well. There's going to be a lot of organizations there. And ideally, we have tables and we have banners. And ideally, we have volunteers that want to come and they just want to stand there, literally, talk to people about the Municipal Alliance and hand out brochures and hand out things that we buy, that we purchase, things that are going to be used. And what things are we purchasing? This is where, as a committee, we come together and we say, you know what, it'll be really nice if we had XYZ. Okay, there's going to be a National Day of Prayer. That's going to be happening in May. And, you know, even there, guys, mental health, it is such a serious, serious thing. I don't know if you're aware of this, but about, I think it was right before COVID, right, literally from the high school, 6 minutes away, maybe less. There's a school around there. This has been recorded, so I don't want to say the name of the school, so we don't, you know, specifically point out, but it's something that happened very close to Dover, about 6 minutes away, where a young girl took her life. She was in elementary school. And it's all connected to mental health. This is something in the Municipal Alliance that has now gotten an increase, a push to not only focus just, you know, because substance abuse affects mental health. Some people think that substance abuse is going to help mental health. And it's really important to educate everyone out there. If you come up with a slogan that could be used for a shirt or for a pencil or for pens or for pins or for all those this different type of things. And one of the most important things on this page is the question mark. Because the question mark opens up the possibility for any ideas that you potentially may have that could be implemented into the program. These are some dates. If anybody would like to take the voluntary sessions on how to, that's what Ms. Schwank was asking earlier, how to complete the application online. These are the upcoming dates. I will be more than willing to share this information. Anybody who's interested, you don't have to do it. It's just a good FYI. Now, our next meeting is going to be April 10th, 2024. And I do want to ask, is everyone okay with doing the meetings online? Is this a good format? Is this okay for everyone?
Yes.
Excellent. So can we
Works
get
for me,
more
and-
answers? If you don't mind activating your microphone as we're videotaping, so just to make sure.
Yes, please.
It works for me, and it also works for other members of our church. If I can't make it, they have a better chance to do it on Zoom than if it was in person.
Yes, it works for me too.
It works for me.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay.
It works for me.
Excellent.
It works for me, Mr. Quinones. It's good.
Thank you. So that's great. So that's the.
And me.
There you go, Mr. Uchi. You completed.
Sorry.
Excellent.
Sorry, I am sorry everybody. I'm just driving.
No, thank you.
So
Keep driving.
I'm just listening. I'm just listening in.
Thank you so much for joining in. So it's gonna be, we'll do the same time if that works for everyone. I think in the past we had done the meetings earlier and we were asked if we could potentially do them a little later because, you know, sometimes people are running around after school and so forth or after their jobs doing different things. Now, if anybody's interested, on February 13th, Mr. Hartman is already he's already signed up. He's going to be coming along. We are going to be going to Morris Plains. There's a meeting at 5 p.m. Now, what happens at 5 p.m.? They usually have like a light dinner. They have sandwiches and coleslaw. They have like, you know, they put like little salads, different things like that. And what happens is this meeting that we're having right now, this is not mandatory for nobody. As a matter of fact, I don't even feel that you have to go whatsoever. The only person that has to go is someone to represent the Municipal Alliance, and I'm already going, okay? But if you would like to see a different side when it comes to this portion, for example, you know, thinking about the younger generation, we usually don't have teenagers come out, you know, for this meeting because it's mainly the leadership of all the different municipal alliances. However, every time we have a meeting, we have a training, we have a training. That's what I was trying to say. We have a training at the meeting, different types of training. And for example, Mr. Rancho, if you were available, if you were around, you will get to meet a lot of the leadership from a lot of the other towns. And a lot of them are actually connected to law enforcement.
Yeah, I will be able to make it if yes, I can make that.
That is awesome, and it's a great great place to be able to network with other people, and just to kind of also see what's happening in other towns. We learn about more events and also get ideas of things that we could potentially do.
Absolutely.
Excellent, and that is all that I have. I believe I was able to cover all the different educational points. Does everyone feel, as we're finishing up today's meeting, that you were able to grasp and understand what's the goal? What are we trying to do here? Do we have any?
Yeah, I think so.
Go ahead, Mr. Hartman.
I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
Say if you knew someone who wanted to join, can they just come into the next meeting on April 10th, or how's that work?
Yeah, so if you know somebody that would like to participate, let's do something. You can have them send me or text me, send me their information, like their name, number, and email, and I'll make sure they get the email with the information ahead of time. This
Okay,
way,
very
they
good.
get straight to them. And what's going to happen now that I had to remake the Zoom link, this Zoom link is going to be the one we're going to use. So I will clean it up, make it look a little nicer so it doesn't have all the numbers. I'll shrink it, and I will just share with you. If you want to invite anybody to participate, you could also, even if they don't get a chance to speak to me or to Mrs. Schwank, they can just, get the email. You can text it to them, and they're more than glad than welcome to be able to participate.
And Mr. Quinones, of course, you can include me on that list. If you see where I fit, I would love to be a member of the alliance, and I will work on getting a member of the local, county, and state law enforcement representatives. If we can get all three represented, that would be great. Because I know a lot of guys work for the state that have a lot of different resources, a lot of different talents, but work in the north. They work in Morris County, but they're state officers in county and so on. So I have good relationships with them, and I'll work on getting you some name and numbers and people that are actually gonna show up and do things.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And again, I'll reiterate this. This is not to say we have all these people in the group. It's only 4 meetings. It's more for the support for the other things. When we're having that event, if Sulma is a teenager, she's in high school, I don't know. I don't recall having project graduation happen, for example, in the Dover School District at Dover High School. If the students wanted to do it, right, it would be really nice to be able to have a resource to be able to call a police officer that is literally helping to guide the process. It's free, right? But it's somebody that cares about the safety and things, just somebody as a resource. And a lot of it is literally having that network, just a resource. I gave an example, and we'll close with this. I asked Sulma, I was talking to her, and I said, Sulma, were you around a few years ago, and did you get to see the helicopter land at Crescent Field? And her eyes popped up like, what? I'm like, yes, we actually had an event, a town event, and we were having a basketball tournament, and it was all planned. That was all planned and organized by the Municipal Alliance. The kids had shirts. We have different teams. It was an amazing event. And at a given time, we had scheduled that I think it was at 1 o'clock or 1:30, a helicopter was going to land right on Crescent Field. Now, if you live in Dover, there is no reason for you to see a helicopter, right? But there was that day, and it was like a way to get kids. It's like, you know what, guys, look at all the different opportunities you have instead of focusing on doing, drugs or opioids or substances. So, doing sports, having fun with friends. We have food, we have snacks. We had that was also when the town celebrated the anniversary. We had a boxing or a school that came. We had dancers, we had singers, musicians, games. So all this different type of things. Pastor Tim.
I just, as you're asking about today's meeting, I will tell you I'm encouraged to see so many participants. And so it's encouraging to see everyone here learning.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I do have one last announcement that's the one thing I forgot to mention. We do have one organization that is no longer going to be getting funding. So we're going to be revising the modifying filling out a modification form, and that is the tech, the Escucha program. They're no longer in operation. As I was notified a few days ago. So therefore, between now and then, we're gonna be probably having a committee meeting, a board meeting to kind of be able to allot those resources. I'll tell you this last thing: if you happen to know an organization in the town that could potentially use this funding for the sake of the kids and the town and the community that would be able to use them, please let us know. It's a simple way. It's literally just a simple form they fill out to request funding. And then the committee just comes together and says, sounds good to us, just approved, and go for it. So please let us know. So thank you everyone for joining this evening. I would like to ask Sulma to close us out and just share her experience as a teenager. I'm really excited that she was willing to participate. Sulma, so how do you feel? Do you feel like an adult now after all these different topics?
Yeah, it's very interesting to learn about things that I really haven't, like I didn't really, not that I haven't noticed, because I feel like it's noticeable also, like the problems that are going on right now, but it's also important to know the actual statistics and like get informed to be able to, you know, help out, and hopefully those statistics, those numbers lower.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And that's ultimately, you know, our goal, you know, to just save as many lives as possible by education. So everyone have a wonderful night. Thank you again. I will download the video, and if anybody